We're live from Las Vegas. I'm JJ Snyder, and with me today is actor, comedian, show creator, clown, my good friend, Matthew Morgan. How are you, buddy?
I'm so good. I'm thrilled. I have so much energy this morning. The coffee is just pumping through my veins. I'm ready to talk about things that would normally put most people to sleep. William Shakespeare, right? All that kind of stuff.
You are the co-founder of the Nevada Shakespeare Festival. I have watched you and I both moved here from LA around the same time, about 7 years ago,
Yes.
8 years ago now. And I watched you establish this company with your wife, Heidi, the Nevada Shakespeare Festival, bringing Shakespeare done in a different way, a little
Yes.
more fun.
Yeah, we are an adaptive festival. We still believe strongly in the language and the plays, the thing and the text and the story and the characters. They're amazing stories. They're all characters and things that are living right on the edge of life, which makes for good theater. But they're 4 hours long. And in our world, I feel like Shakespeare wrote for his people. In our world, we don't have 4 hours to burn in that same way. So we are an adaptive festival. We switch things around. We change things. We gender swap. We blind cast. We sort of do all of the things. We add music into it and dance and audience participation and kind of all of the things, all of which are a tool in which to re-engage the audience with the material.
Yes. Make it come alive. A lot of it, honestly, Shakespeare, it's not really, the language isn't totally accessible. It's just not understandable.
Yes.
The first play I did out of college was a comedy of errors, kind of flipped on its head. And I mean, it's thick stuff, let's be honest. And yet it endures. So you're one of these companies that is kind of deconstructing Shakespeare, basically making it way more fun.
Yes.
Maybe as much fun as they were having with it when they did it originally.
I'd like to think.
But you're keeping the language alive as well.
Yes. I mean, it's over 400 years old. Communities have been listening to these plays for over 400 years. Same plays, same characters, laughing at the same things, gasping at the same things, crying at the same character, developments and stories and tragedies. So there's just such a rich history of the storytelling and of the material, and it's just powerful stuff. But again, we need to make it relevant to our community now, and we need to sort of. I feel like Shakespeare again wrote for his people. He had inside jokes. He made political jokes. He made social jokes. He made all kinds of jokes about competitors and this and that. And we don't know who those people are now. We don't know what those stories and how relevant they are now. So for us, we take Hamlet and we set it in a trailer park. We take Titus Andronicus and we turn it into a grindhouse film. And that's but again, it's a play, but we're still using the same rules and the same ideas that we sort of know about in our culture now. And we apply those things to the play. And it's not just about like changing costumes. It's about putting it in the world of those places.
And the way you go about it, I mean, kind of no one better to make fun out of something that's 400 years old than kind of the fun, the vibe you bring to it, Matt. So for the people watching too, you and I know each other from Los Angeles. We were kind of in the same theater circle. We did a very memorable. You were a clown and I was a stilt walker, and we had a job, I believe, up in Santa Barbara at a wedding.
Those were the days, huh?
Yeah, those are the days. And I'm thinking back, and I bet you, like around that time, I would gig, as I'm sure you were.
Yes.
I survived by basically waiting tables and doing gigs, stilt walking gigs. We probably made what, 150, maybe 250 to do that job.
Yeah, probably. So. I mean, 350 was a solid day of work. Like you were like, oh my gosh, Fat City, here we are.
Yes. All right. Well, thankfully, oh my God, thankfully times have changed. So you've moved to Vegas and been incredibly successful. So part of your magic is you're so tapped into audiences now. You're a show creator and you are working with a group called Spiegel World.
Yes.
Now, I have said on air more times than I can count, the best show in Las Vegas is Absinthe, brought to you by Spiegel World. It's comedy, burlesque, circus, madness. as is all the shows they do. And tell me about your involvement and your wife's history with
Yeah.
Spiegelworld.
So the company's been in Vegas now. I think it's almost been 13 years, and we started with them about 13 years ago, soon after Absinthe opened at Caesar's Palace. I got brought in by Voki, who created the Gazillionaire character
Yeah.
originally, and had about 4 days of rehearsal, and then got thrown into the show because he left to go do another contract with another unmentioned company. So for 13 years on and off, we've had the pleasure of working for Spiegelworld. We have been in multiple shows here in Vegas. We got to tour Australia and North America and another show. And it's just been a gift to be in some of the most provocative circus and theater around now. And it's given me tools that I never knew I needed, but certainly want now. I mean, the audience interaction and the engagement with the crowd in those comedy characters is so thick and rich that, I can, because of it, I can kind of go on stage with nothing in my underwear and I can do 45 minutes and be totally fine and comfortable and easy.
Oh my God. And you just might, coming up at your fundraiser, we want to talk about the Ungala. So
Yeah.
you're doing something, Vegas is like every major city in America, has a lot of charity, amazing nonprofits. By the way, Nevada Shakespeare Festival, a
Yes.
nonprofit organization. Their pillars are production and education.
Yes.
But everyone knows what a gala's like. Certainly, I've hosted a couple hundred in my time. You're doing an Ungala coming up
Yes.
on February 23rd. We're actually in a Spiegelworld venue. We are
Yes.
in the Atomic Saloon, a show that you are
Resident director of now.
resident director of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's where we're going to do this fundraiser?
Yes. Yeah. We're going to be in that space. So we're doing some traditional things. We'll have a silent auction. We'll have live auction items. We'll have a fund to need. We'll try to raise money. We're partnering with some amazing local nonprofits here as well that will sort of reap the benefits of this entire night of celebrating philanthropy. But we're going to do all of those things non-traditionally. We're going to have circus in there. We're going to have Shakespeare in there. We're going to have audience participation in there. I will lose my pants at some point. But we're flipping things on their head. Like I don't want to give away too much, but I think you had one of the best ideas for the night, which was in the very early parts of the show, we auction off squirt guns for those audience members that want to keep the long speeches at bay. So like we're going to do things like that sort of flip the entire experience on its head. And again, like we do with Shakespeare, it's all a ruse to, I feel like galas are a little like sleepy and people fall back in their seat. No, they write a check. We want to sort of engage and have them sit forward and participate in the experience and be part of the conversation, so that they are interested in what they're supporting and they're engaged by it.
You're speaking my language, so I just don't understand. I grew up in the theater. We're both theater kids, by the way, clearly, if that didn't occur to anyone already. But what I hate is the passiveness of being an audience member. Yeah. I loathe sitting. Anyone who expects me to sit, even in the sports game, I'm sorry, like for 3 hours or 2 hours, even 2.5 hours, and just sit passively, I want to die. Audiences people want to dance. People want to move. There's some cultures that really understand that, and you'll spend half of the show standing up. Those are my kind of shows. And so what makes me so angry, Matt, and why I love Spiegelworld so much and why it's so essential is that it's calling out all the things we already know. Yeah. Everyone knows silently in a room, wow, we've been sitting here for an hour. We're bored as heck. But we kind of had that super old school, like I was raised in the Catholic school system, that like just be quiet and listen. That's what you're supposed to do. And deep inside, people are so bored. So I can't wait till you bring this alive. Okay, so you've named actually the last 2 seasons of Nevada Shakespeare Festival. You did Titus Andronicus last year, and now you're going to be hitting the public parks. You have a close relationship with the library system here in Las Vegas and doing Hamlet, which is such an uplifting show.
Well, so listen, you mentioned Comedy of Errors. So we're doing Comedy of Errors in the parks first. So we'll do 8 parks partnering with all these municipalities and county offices and things. And we'll be in different parks like every Saturday for 8 weeks doing the Comedy of Errors. And it's super wacky and super funny. And it's 6 actors playing
Fun.
like 20 characters, masks and quick changes and squirt guns as we like to use. And all of those things. So we'll do something and it's like our starter piece. It's a 75-minute show, no intermission. Bring your kids, they can talk, they can ask questions while it's happening, and maybe we'll even answer them. Like, it's a very easy Shakespeare experience, and it's outside. Bring some wine, and you can take a nap if you want to.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, speaking of wine, can I just throw something in? Because part of your origin story, when you were back in Los Angeles,
Yeah,
along with your wife Heidi, was this show called Shotspeare, which,
yeah,
like, the whole concept of this show is two great things, right? The
yes,
classics, Shakespeare and alcohol. But,
yeah.
like, tell me that you created that, what, around 2010 or so?
Yeah, 2010. It's all a blur. It's all a blur now. We made that show back when we were in our or I was in my late 30s and had no children. And it was a wonderful idea. And we all got paid to excessively drink and act. And like, who doesn't love that as an idea? Now that I'm a bit older and I have children, like, it's almost the bane of my existence, that show, because everybody wants it now. And I'm like, oh no, I'm old. I don't want to do that show anymore. But I love doing that show. But Shotspeare is, again, it's sort of, what's the words I'm looking for? It kind of taught me the ways in which to use Shakespeare to engage and excite and entertain people who don't want Shakespeare. Because I always thought, let's go to who doesn't love Shakespeare. How can I get in front of those people with some Shakespeare? Like, let's go to a bar and we'll do like a band set. Like, a band would play for 45 minutes. We'll do a 45-minute Shakespeare play and engage these people like crazy. There's a drinking game with it. There's a spinning wheel. There's an audience member that's on stage with us doing the whole show. We're taking shots and drinking, and so is the audience, and all these things. It's about obstacles, really, the show is. But then the show sort of expanded and became bigger and more bits and longer and intermission, so bar sales can go up. And it really became a show that we've now
Wow.
toured the world with for 13 or 14 years on and off in different. We had companies in New York and St. Louis and Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and and so learning how to engage audiences with that material and the ways in which we do it, we sort of apply now to our more traditional play adaptations. Now, we're not going to be drinking and carousing in such adult ways while we're doing Hamlet, but the same idea of like using the play, shifting out of the play to get the audience to go, what is this? And then coming back into the play. That sort of concept was
I
created
just
for Shotspeare.
I'm laughing because you and I think the origin of our time together in LA and theater, it was so heavily involved alcohol. But also, but I'm the same way. Like, I can't do that anymore.
How
But
far
it
down
was
the road
fun.
are we going to go on this one? Goodness.
It was fun. Yeah, I know. You want to pull out some stories because I have a few. No, but I love it. Honestly, what you said is genius, because you can actually take the same spirit of fun that you
Yeah,
get by in your 20s. It might involve alcohol, but you can take that same spirit of fun. And what
yeah,
you're saying is, give me an audience that doesn't understand this and doesn't enjoy this at all.
yeah.
And you as an artist and Heidi and all these great character actors, how fun would you need to make an experience to make people enjoy it?
Uh,
And
yeah. I mean, it's what
and
theater should be, though. I think is that level of it's live entertainment, which is we need more of, I think, and it's wonderful and great. But it's like, and this I will directly correlate to Absinthe, for doing Absinthe for over 10 years. I've always been into clown and audience participation. I traveled with the Ringling Brothers Circus and sort of learned all that stuff. But the thing that Absinthe taught me was this like level of engagement to get the audience to respond, to take action, to heckle, whatever they want to do, that sort of allows them to feel like they can express themselves. They're as much of a character in all of our shows as we are on stage. Like, they're there in the room, and to think that they're not, or to not be doing what you're doing for them, I think you're sort of misreading the opportunity a little bit.
Profound. Mic drop. No,
Are
I'm
we
serious.
recording this? I'm going to need to go back and remember all these things that I'm saying.
I hope we're recording. Are we recording this? I hope we are. You never know. I couldn't agree more, though. I mean, there's a magic to a live audience. We're doing this interview virtually, obviously, but there's still a magic, and the kind of content you're creating, it really must be experienced in person. So, well, let's talk about this. We're raising money at the Ungala here on the 23rd. It's a Sunday night, and it's to really enhance everything you're doing at the festival, but most importantly, probably your educational programs.
Yes.
So we have, I don't know, how is our arts community in terms of arts education here in Las Vegas?
I think it's good. I think it's strong. I think there are a lot of people here doing things to engage youth. Admittedly, we're new. I mean, I've lived here 8 years. I've been in and out of Vegas for 10 or 12 years, but we're new. So we're still trying to understand what programs are out there so that we can support those people, but also offer something at a different angle. Because I'm not here to compete or to sort of, I can do that person's thing better than they can, and try to get their people or whatever. So it's about finding the windows of opportunity. But there's the Nevada School of the Arts. There's other acting programs that are sort of after school programs. There's all kinds of painting and music
Social Circus is a program, a great after school program that you and I are both familiar with.
Yes. And so I think there's a robust youth thing here that's happening. And I keep talking about it. I feel like we're here a little bit in a renaissance. Not that there wasn't amazing work and things happening before this moment, but I feel like there's great energy and excitement. Kate St. Pierre is she's a high school theater arts teacher, but she's doing like 7 things outside of her school programming to engage kids. Wow. And to educate. And, admittedly, I lean towards the theater people and what those programs are and what those people are doing to support the community. But there's lots of different kinds of programs for music and painting and art and sculpture and all kinds of art that I think are doing great work in the community.
I'm glad you're mentioning that, because I think you and I are at an age where we can kind of.
We're at an age.
Oh, we're at an age. No, we're at a point in our lives, though, in our career. So we're a couple of theater kids, and now we're looking a couple of decades down the road. Yeah. And I mean, I think the local community theater in my hometown of Yakima, Washington, I think I was taking an acting class there when I was like 13 years old. And they said, do not do this unless you have to, because this isn't an easy road. So the concept of being a creative and making a living at being creative, it's something that, to me, it's taken me a while to go, how can I go into an art school and say, hey, pursue a career as an actor, or pursue a career as even a talk show host or a clown, God forbid. How can I advise this? Because how are they going to make a living? But I think optimistically, you and I are both proof that there is a place for creatives. And certainly I think Las Vegas has a lot of positions for creatives.
And to me, I think that's a huge thing. There's so many, if we, starting at the top, sort of people come here and they go to UNLV, and then they leave and they go to LA, or they go to New York, or they go to Chicago, or someplace like that where the work is. And I think there's a missed opportunity. I think there's a lot of work here. And so as we work with young people and we talk about what kind of a career you can make for yourself, and at its core, I think thinking about work, what you do for a living, as a way of following your dreams. As corny as that sounds, if you are as passionate about your dreams as you can be, I think it's no different than trying to hustle and get a job someplace else. And I feel like we're living in a society and an economy right now, not to get too into the weeds, where we're finding people who have a stable job are losing jobs and aren't necessarily able to fulfill what they thought their life could be, whether that's financially or in their hearts and in their minds. So to me, either risk is fine. I would choose the risk that allows me to fulfill my heart and to care about what I'm doing and to be passionate, which is going to fuel in me the desire to get to the next place so that I can grow, because that passion and that care for what you do will only increase the farther down the road you go as you follow your dreams. So that to me is the important thing to try to instill in young people, is this idea that it's all hard. So let's just recognize that. But let's maybe I tell my kids, I'm like, find something you like to do, because you're at some point you're going to have to do it when you don't want to. So if you like it, then it's just going to be easier.
Oh, isn't that true? One of the
Yeah.
things I really admire about you, Matt, is that you are a family person. Like, you have a great marriage with your wife, Heidi. She's a spectacular, award-winning performer here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
She's a brilliant talent, but you're a parent.
Yeah.
Tell me about the dynamic of bringing up kids in a very creative bubble. Can I say?
Yeah. It's admittedly I had kids a little older, which I think was the right move for me, because I was not ready to sort of be able to do all of the things necessary to be a parent as I was younger. But it's been, I mean, honestly, in the end, I just want to hang out with my kids because I love them and I like them and they mostly like me. So it's a mutual relationship. And I like my wife. I like my family. I like and again, I have a passion for life. And that to me is a great extension of life, is having those people in your inner circle. And I'm not saying you have to have kids to have that. You have a partner, you have this, you have great friends. Like, that part of life is what eventually becomes the richest part of life. So I'm very lucky, and I have a very wonderful wife who is super creative and absolutely understands it and gets it and is a great partner and supportive, and all of those things. And again, to me, that's about this idea that you're making something in your life that you're passionate about, and finding the elements that sort of enhance that as you move through life. And it's really important, to I think make smart decisions about your life,
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, yeah, absolutely. It's
Now
funny
we're
that
way in the
I
weeds.
really,
Where
I
are we
know,
now,
I
man?
know. Oh my God, we need a couple of rocking chairs. Oh my God, we're not that old, but I tell you, yeah, I tell you, doing theater, summer stock theater for
Yeah.
$250 a week, it's exhausting. So yeah, I think I aged a lot in my 20s, just by doing
So
theater,
true.
99-seat theater in LA.
So when I was on, you say summer stock, $100 something. When I was on Ringling Brothers Circus, we
Yeah.
made $175 a week, and we did 10 to 13 shows a week. And I had to give $10 of it back for my porter fee for living on a train. And it was the greatest thing ever.
It was, dude, I remember, let me tell you, I remember when you went to Ringling,
Yeah.
and it was very high status around the theater community in LA that we hung out with. The
Sure.
fact that you were with Ringling and living
Yeah.
on a train, like, in our 20 something minds at that point, I never would have occurred to me to ask how much you were being paid. Like, I
Didn't
bet you would have
matter.
done it for free.
Didn't matter. But it's funny. In a week, I made what we made walking on stilts in front of a bank. So in one day, you know what I mean? So the idea that we made $175 in one day, I was like, oh, this is killing it.
I still have my stilts, by the way. I might pull them out,
Come to the Young Gala. JJ Snyder might pull out her stilts.
That's right. That's right. Okay, it's a beautiful thing. Ungala, February 23rd at the Atomic Saloon. Are there still tickets? Your website, NevadaShakespeareFestival.com.
Yeah, go to NevadaShakespeareFestival.com and you can find out about the tickets. If you want to be a sponsor on the event and give us a bunch of money, You'll get all kinds of perks and all kinds of things. But if you want to just come and be a part of a wonderful night that supports theater and autism awareness and all kinds of different things. We have some great partners that we're partnering on this event for, kind of trying a new model for this sort of gala experience. It's not all about us. It's about the community and other people in the community that are doing similar work to uplift, engage, support, and care for people in the community.
It's incredibly gracious of you. I love that. There's several artistic organizations benefiting from this night. Come out. Mainly it's going to be like a super good time.
Yes, it is.
A super good time. Nevada Shakespeare Festival is also on Facebook. Guys, Las Vegas is growing. We've got sports teams, and now we have a Shakespeare Festival. Find out what it's all about. It's 10 times more fun than you think. If you don't believe me, just ask Matt Morgan, because he has a rainbow behind him today. Also on Instagram, NV Shake Fest. Matthew Morgan, before this Ungala happens, I believe you're out east fiddling with a little show called Empire, also a Spiegel World production.
That one is called The Hook, actually.
Oh, you're doing The Hook. Sorry.
The Hook.
Okay.
So we're going to do a little bit of, I get to go out there and help and do a little tweaking and a little care.
A little fiddling, Matt.
Yeah.
A little fiddling.
I like caring for shows.
Oh, you do? You do? Is that what you do?
I do.
You go in and you fix shows, make them nicer?
Yeah, care for them, make them tighter, cleaner, sharper. That's sort of one of my favorites.
You know what?
Yeah.
Faster is always better. Am I right?
Louder, faster, funnier.
Louder, faster, funnier. Matt Morgan, thank you so much.
Thank you, JJ.
Love you, buddy.
You too.